Okay, good evening, everyone, once again. Thank you for joining in. If you are in a good place, you can actually switch on your camera so that we can interact. This is Roger Sumukalere. I've been seeing a lot on the ICT Teachers Association platform. The biggest discussion right now is about assessment, end of year assessment. Third term is ending. And senior threes, the pioneers of the new curriculum, those are the pioneers. Next year, they will be going to senior 4. We have said bye-bye to all the curriculum students. They finished UNEB. So we are now looking at the senior threes who are our candidates next year. How will UNEB be next year? We all know in the new curriculum, there is going to be coursework, which is 20%. And this coursework is going to be submitted, the activities of integration, right from the first topic that was taught up to the last topic. Each topic has to be submitted to UNEB. And we are setting, this is our syllabus. Next year, we are going to be handling senior 4. So this is our syllabus. So when you go to the syllabus, you'll find what we call a program planner. And the first topic is Introduction to ICT. And this topic here, Introduction to ICT. So let me just go down here. So this is the first topic, Introduction to ICT. And the learner, the competence, the learner understands the concept of ICT and related terminologies, its benefits, and required safety precautions. So when you set your activity of integration, it was supposed to fully at least assess this topic and bring out this competence in the learner. You should be having marks already for the activity of integration, ready to submit to UNEB out of 3. Each activity is out of 3, and these marks, as a class teacher, you should be having a file so that when UNEB opens the portal that you're supposed to submit coursework, you are ready to submit. Now, this was a topic. Now, the second topic, so their learning outcomes in here, learners knowing ICT devices like a camera, smartphone, and everything, identifying them, knowing how to use them, common tools, and how to use a camera, how to use a smartphone, and all that. So that was really a competence. And also there is something to do with the, let me see, the rules that govern, there's some security and safety concerns. Safety concerns also. Using the device safely, because you might get problems, you may get tendinitis, you may get eye strain, you may get many other things. So there was an activity of integration that you provided. That was in term 1. Now, term 2 came up. You also, there's another topic that was computer hardware and system startup. There is a competency. The learner understanding the importance of physical devices and uses them. The other time it was complete devices, but now we are looking at the physical devices of a computer system now, the keyboard, the mouse, the monitor, the speakers, these peripherals. And then assembling the computer to connect all these components and all these devices, and using the peripheral tools like the printer and safely shutting down the computer. So you set an activity of integration, which is scenario-based. Activities of integration are high order in nature because they involve transfer of knowledge to the scenario that you have set in the question. And learners come up with an output that you assess. It could be an essay, it could be a drawing, it could be, what could it be? It could be in different ways that learners are going to do so that they apply the knowledge. Then the another topic was file and folder management. Now, after assembling the computer, learners switch on the computer, they create a file, they create a folder, they navigate the computer. So there's a competency. The learner understands the different types of storage media to store information, the structure of files, folders, and directories. Now on Windows 10, Windows 11, Windows 7, whichever Windows they are using, they should be able to use a different type of storage media, the hard disk, the flash disks, and then convert. So the activity of integration had to bring out these learning outcomes, and also whether it was a practical one or it was a theory one, you are the one who chose. Then finally, for senior one, the topic of word processing, which was a practical. Now, after learners have learned the Windows, now they go ahead and use an application like Microsoft Word to create a document. This is Word and all the features. And at the end of the day, they can do something like a letter, or they can do something like what? Something like a timetable, something like any document that involves features of word processor, including tables. So you did this and you were setting those activities in those respective terms. Now, this is the end of year, just like end of cycle senior 4. You are supposed to set a paper, which is out of 80, where learners will get a full, they will paper 1, which is theory, and then paper 2. And then they can be able to do this. And you have to say it now for senior 1, end of year, as recommended by NCBC, that we're supposed to set. Yeah. And this end of year should be able to cover the entire coverage right from where you started. If it is senior 2 end of year, then I would expect you to set a paper that really tests the learn of senior 2 on whatever has been covered, including spreadsheets, including the presentation that is PowerPoint, including the information access and sharing. This one involves using internet to share information, using online platforms like social media, the internet practices and etiquette, including use of emails, blind carbon copy, subject, and all those things, including things like Google Drive, that is cloud computing, using Bluetooth to share information, and also the online safety practices that the internet use. That is the topic of senior 2. And also there is still health and safety now as a standalone topic. And learners are supposed to know more about what the health issues that are associated with using computers, and they can be able to research. So all this, at the end of the day, the learner is competent. By if you are setting end of senior 2 paper, you should set a paper whereby right from senior 1 up to senior 2, if possible, because the UNEB will also set from senior 1 to senior 4. So to keep continuously make learners, even if you had set a senior 1 end of year, you may need bring back some senior 1 questions in senior 2 end of year, so that they can always continue to remember cumulatively what they covered. Now, senior 3, if these are the pioneers, they had learned some word in senior 1. Now the word processing 2 has advanced word, and the features are there, including things like footnotes and watermarks, a list of figures, list of tables, and writing letters. And remember here they are saying, send a personal letter to the parents of 10, informing them of their training performance using mail merge. So fictional, that means you don't give the learners the words to type. They have to choose the words themselves. You just give them a scenario. The words, unlike old curriculum where we used to spoon feed the learners with even the words to type, this time we just give them a problem and they even have to find their own content, or give them support files to use. And then spreadsheet 2 also has advanced features. The learner advances advanced features, and there are more things in here, using functions like if, sum, if, count, if, rank, VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, which were not there in senior 2. And so there's that. Then there is publisher, to produce publications like flyers, business cards, calendars, to solve problems for which they are supposed to solve. So learners still are given a problem. And then we looked at this last time. the principles of assessment, and the difference between exams of the old curriculum and the new curriculum, the letter from NCDC, we looked at all these. So this is publisher. I don't know whether members have covered it. And then also database. Also by senior 3, we expect learners, they have understood databases, they know why databases are important, and they can be able to use them for problem solving or for project work. And they also know how to use queries and use operators like equal, not equal to, all these other advanced queries here for retrieving data in the database. And create a database of up to 2 tables, okay? There is up to 2 tables. So we should not ask learners to do very many tables, and also print out. And ideally, that is senior 3. So senior 4, we shall be starting with web design. Let me not go there. Senior 4 shall be starting with web design. So if you have set a paper for end of year, senior 3, it is summative and out of 8. You are mimicking if it was UNEB setting for end of senior 4, what will be the paper? So members, I wanted to pass through that syllabus for context. And now we start looking at what we have done.
Hello.
What we have done.
Thank you.
Seen several papers that members have done, but before, I want to ask members to share. If you have set any paper or any questions, you can decide to share with us what have you done. And then we can look at your question and we see, is this question actually bringing out the competency and the learning outcome that were indicated in the syllabus, or your question is lacking? Is your question more of knowledge-based? Is it having any scenario, or it is all the curriculum kind of question? So this time I want to ask members to share with us. Mr. Semuju Henry.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Have you set any question that you would want to share with us?
Well, I hadn't set. Good evening, I'm Kalele Rogers.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for collecting us here and really taking us through these activities.
It's okay.
It's very good. It's wonderful. We feel so blessed that we have you. Let me not go that other side.
Okay.
Now, I haven't set questions, but I had a plan. The nature of plan I had was to set some scenario questions. Then on the other hand, set even some structured.
So that's
because it looks like as if all of us do not know yet what exactly deal with. So senior 1, I was planning to set at least 4 scenario-based questions and put an instruction where these people do 3 scenario-based questions and set some small other section of some structured, at least 2 structured. That was my plan.
Okay.
Senior 2, I was going to do the same thing, but senior 3, I was contemplating that probably I set only practicals. So I was looking at a practical in Word, looking at a practical in Excel, looking at a practical in maybe PowerPoint, and one, I was looking at practicals so that at least people can do 2 or 3 practicals. I'm looking at it in the level, actually, the level of S4 practicals, which we are doing today in the old curriculum. Okay. That's my submission. That is how I'm looking at issues, but I haven't set any. However, if I set, I will also see what I can publish.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes. You're welcome.
Any other member? Any other member? Is there any other member who has set? Maybe before I continue with another member, I want us first again look at this. Of course, I'm going to go back there. So this was the circular from NCDC. It was saying guidance on end of year assessment for senior 1, 2. And now here, he's saying that in order to prepare the learners for end of cycle assessment, that is for end of next year, senior 4, the schools will be expected to develop full papers at the end of year for senior 1, 2, and 3. So Mr. Semuji, what you want to do is not to set full papers, but for you want to set maybe for senior 3 only practical, no theory. And yet, according to the examination formats that NCDC provided, ICT has it has the theory, paper 1, and it also has practical, according to what they provided. Because I know time may not be enough, but if you can, be good for you to see some theory and also some some practical, so that learners are.
Now the challenge, Mr. Mkalele, Mr. Mkalele.
Yes.
The challenge is how to set the theory. What are we going to embrace in the theory bit?
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You heard my question?
We are going to look at
I'm
some
asking
from
what are we going to set?
Yes. Any other member? Any other member who has said something? Right now, what you are looking at is the assessment items. Last time I shared the examination format from NCDC for ICT. And, I didn't want again to repeat myself on what we shared last time. But we are looking at the items. I want to say, Mr. Agoya David. Mr. Ashraf, Vanja, are you hearing me?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Yeah, I'm asking. There are some particular members I'm asking. Mr. Ashraf.
Yes, Mr. Mkalele.
Yes.
I am hearing you.
Yes, have you set some paper that you want to share with us?
Yes, I set a paper. End of year senior 3. Because I'm teaching on senior 3 for ICT. But it is purely structured.
It's purely structured.
Yes.
Last time, did you see the various forms of assessment items from objective to structured to essay? So if you only set structured only, then that paper is not balanced. It is not really balanced, and
okay.
From what there's
a certain document I saw only that I need to trace and get the source of it, but you know, right now people are sharing different things.
We have some materials that NCDC gave. They are the ones we are basing on. And I've been sharing them in the previous sessions. So, let me hear from Mr. Bazira Paul. This is each one teach one. I don't want to just come and dictate. I'm going to share some papers members shared on email, but I want to find out from members here. If there is anyone who wants something he has done, and then you can share with us. Then we can go from there. Mr. Bazira Paul.
Good evening. I've just joined in. Allow me to see where we are, and then I can contribute. I've just joined in, I think, about 2 minutes ago.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mawedele.
Yes, Mr. Mkalele.
I saw your paper. I saw you shared the last week I had asked members to set papers and send on email info@ICT Teachers UG, the ITAU email, and I'm seeing here members have shared. I saw Mr. Mawedele. I saw your paper here. Is this the paper you want?
That is what I wanted to tell you, that unfortunately not move with the laptop. I'm just using a phone.
Okay.
And I don't have access to that paper. I'm just moving around.
Okay, let me share your paper.
Add some commitment somewhere.
Let me share your paper. So this is a paper. First of all, here, he's starting with a paper code. He's using the same paper code like all the curriculum. That has been something. And even the subject name. I've seen some paper from Wakisha. They put computer studies, yet it is called ICT. That is another thing. There's a duration. You have given it 3 hours. That is another thing that we need to. So this is Ruvongi Army Secondary School Senior 3 end of year assessment. You have put 2 sections, A and B. Mr. Moire, you are the one supposed to be telling us about your paper. I'm starting from Ruby. Yes.
Here it is just saying I started.
Your network is not okay.
Yeah, my network is not okay. I'm moving. I don't know whether you will be able
Okay.
to
So
get a stable network.
this was a practical paper, isn't it?
It is.
Okay, section A, you are giving a scenario. And you are saying your school is planning for PTA annual general meeting at end of term 3. Schedule take place in the main. The school secretary is sick for sick leave, which is to end in 2004. Your approach. So you are approached by the teacher to word process and print a letter inviting parents and members of staff for a PTA annual general meeting. Now, one thing I want to first ask here. What's the relevance of this? You see, whichever statement you put in your scenario should be relevant. So do you want the learner, when he's processing this letter to parents, to also tell the parents that the school secretary is sick? Or you just...
I was thinking that now they pick. So you are the one who is there who can at least help the teacher to process that letter.
Okay. One thing
that was in my mind.
I want to bring out that the information that you put in your scenario and support material should be help the learner in the product that is going to come out. This could confuse the learner, and the learner say, okay, dear parents, you're welcome for deputy and for our school secretary is sick. But so this, I don't think this was very relevant. In other maybe you'd have put more other information in line with guiding the learner on what you want exactly the learner to come up with. But of course, the other thing that you have to bring out is what are you going to assess? This is Microsoft Word. You want the learner bring out the competence of word processing a letter, including using features. Okay? So you want the learner to use alignment when he's aligning the date. You want the learner to bold the heading. You want the learner to, if you may want the learner to demonstrate how to create a table. So you may have to, instead of saying school secretary is sick, you may say, in your letter, include a tabulated program, okay, of the day. That means you want the learner to bring out the tabulation using a table, okay? And you make use of formatting and font features to bring out your letter neatly.
Yes.
So you can, instead of saying school secretary is sick, guide the learner more so that the learner brings out the competency which was in the syllabus, okay? So that the learner brings out your scenario. If I open your scenario and then I go to, if I open your question, and then I say, this question really assessing everything that you taught in Microsoft Word. Actually, many features, you may not assess everything, but at least the learner should demonstrate, okay, this is word processing. You finish teaching this, and you've taught up to these fonts and also tables, okay? So that's why I was saying that your scenario, you'd have told the learner, if possible, to tabulate the program, include it in the letter, and also, yes, so that at least at the end of the day, the learner can demonstrate enough of the competences that you taught, okay? So otherwise, members, any other comment on Mr. Moede's paper on word processing? Then I know has another comment there. Okay.
Mr. Mukalele, I wish to ask, what does 20 scores mean?
Now, in the new curriculum, we avoid a lot the word examination and marks to create a change. If you look at the sample assessment items by NCDC, okay, they were Let me see if I can bring, okay. You can use the word anyway, this is just nomenclature, but people have been using, especially from activity participation, they were using scores instead of what? Instead
Marks.
of, okay. Yeah, but that is just nomenclature, and even using the word assessment instead of what? Exam. Okay.
Exam.
But this is what I was saying here. You can refer to some of those items that they provided. But like we said, okay, let me just share this. Let me share once again. So for us, we use the resources that we're having. So what I'm sharing here is one of the items. This is from history. This is by NCDC itself. Okay. NCDC gave this to UNEB, and UNEB has made others now the final, but this is what NCDC, which is the architect of the curriculum, did. Provided to us, and they have been benchmarking. And you can see they are using what? Are they calling them marks?
No.
I think I've answered your question. But you can see in history, they are bringing scenarios. In my village of Chivale, and then so they want learners to apply knowledge and transfer knowledge there. So Mr. Mawere, thank you. So question 2 also. So members, when you are setting your question, try to put it against the syllabus and see how much of course you may not examine each and everything in what you have covered, but at least cover some such that someone can know, okay, this learner knows spreadsheets. He has demonstrated use of formulas, tabulating data, he has done a graph. So in this question here, the director of studies at such a primary school approached you to help him with and analyze the following marks obtained by people that start for their term 2 examinations. And Abe got this, Kato got that. He would like to know the best people in the class, total average marks by people, and put a chart. So what have you told the learner? Okay, help him. So this is the problem. It is focusing on problem solving. That is okay. Members, any comment on this? Any comment? Is this a good question? If you look at the syllabus here for spreadsheets, it wanted a learner to use spreadsheet to manipulate data and print it, and also use charts to represent data. Those are the learning outcomes. And using minimum, maximum, typeset, a hard copy document, use spreadsheet to, okay, so basically, yeah, do you see these 2 competences coming out in this question? These 2 learning outcomes, do you see them being examined or assessed summatively in this question 2? I want to hear from someone. There are some members who are good at joining and they remain in Kamori. They don't want to participate in the discussion. So yes, Mr. Beyamba Deus. Okay. Mr. Rogers Natohera, are you hearing us? Okay, some of these members, they are...
I think members are not active today.
They are trying, but by nature. Yes, Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers? Okay, he has gone off. Okay, so Mr. Segirinya Stephen.
Hello, are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, please.
Hello?
Ma'am.
We can. Okay, let us proceed.
Mr. Rogers.
Yes, yes, Mr. Semuju.
I think the question is good.
Yeah.
Because I think that one requires the learner to go ahead and be on the machine and type all this information into an Excel spread.
And organize it in columns very well and rows.
And organize it as in columns and rows.
Mm.
Then thereafter, there is a need to know the best people. Knowing the best people means then there is need to know the average, the total, and all those other particulars. That means that the student, or rather the learner, is going to be subjected to go into knowing some of these simple formulas and how to actually work with Excel in its entirety.
Okay.
I think the question is good. I could also wish to borrow a leaf from it when I am going to set something to do with spreadsheets. It's a good one.
Yeah. If we look at being on syllabus, anyway, this is senior. If it is senior 3, then it goes up to advanced. Because I'm not seeing the best people may be implemented using rank, which is not yet taught at this level. Okay. So unless if he's going to use sorting to just sort and then see the one who is at the top, and that will be the way for learners. Anyway, let us proceed because of time. I can see he set a question on database and has also brought in, you work for a small library and your task is to create a database to manage the library's collection of books. The database needs to store information about each book, including, so the information, including the serial number, is giving some attributes. And then additionally, manager wants to be able to use any database object that allows him to add new books, check the availability of a particular book, the total price spent on each book. Your database must have a minimum of 10 records, okay? And that is the database. In this case, we have not told the learner which tables to create, like in the horticulture, with the fields and which queries to do or whatever. We've just given them this kind of scenario. So in this case, Mr. Mawere.
Yes, Mr. Mkalere.
How many tables did you expect the learner to create, and which tables particularly for this database?
I expected the learner to come up with only one table.
Only one table? And what's the table name?
A flat, the table name, huh?
Books.
I think, yeah, you can say books. Okay, it will depend on the learner how he's going to think about it.
Because the table is capturing information about a book, isn't books, isn't it?
Yes.
So
yes.
the database could be called library database, and inside the database, the table is
we have books.
And in the book, we have the fields, serial number, title, author. Yeah, so the learner should understand what's a database, what is a table, and according to the syllabus, they said we should limit to two tables maximum. So if your scenario involves 2 tables, then learner should be well guided. But according to your question, to check availability of a particular book, total price spent. So the total price may require a query, isn't it?
Yes.
Require a query. So you have not told the learner that create a query, but you expect the learner may be able to know and use his innovation and come up with a database that you are going to use. And also a learner, to be able to use, to allow him to add new books, that means you require a learner to create a form. Okay?
Yes.
Ideally, forms are the ones to be used to add more records in the table instead of entering data directly in the database table. Okay? And then, so I think this tries to assess the concepts that are there in the database. Okay, so members, you can see the paper that Mr. Mawere, but now Mr. Mawere, you have set even web design. Have you gone ahead of the syllabus and even taught senior 4 work?
That was my plan. I've
So
not told
you have
yet,
not set based on coverage of what you have covered with your learners. Oh, you were just setting.
That website, I want to just include it there.
Now,
I
your
believe
paper,
there are some people. Yes.
Your paper is asking, they are saying 6 items, 2 in section A and 4 in section B. Okay. And you are telling them to do how many numbers? Section A is compulsory, and then section B, they do NA3. So you want them to do 5 numbers in 3 hours.
That was my.
Do you think?
Okay, that is not what
remember
I
here
thought of.
to think. Yeah, telling us to do 5 numbers in 3 hours.
I'd not say that it must be like that, but I looked at now, if you have taught 6 applications and you assess like maybe only 3, I think it will not be okay. Because you remember, if you look at now this old curriculum where we teach 5, now they do word, X0 and 2, either PowerPoint and what? They do 4.
Okay.
Don't you see that this time if they do 5 will at least be okay?
No, but you have to be sensitive on I think
time.
We would tell them to do like anyway, other aspects of these papers can be set in the theory paper. So it doesn't mean that so you can still make them to do like 4 numbers. Section B, they choose like 2. Now, members, I don't know if there's any other person. I saw several members who sent in their papers that they did set, and I wanted them to share with us, but because of time, I'm not seeing many of them coming on. But I've realized many of the members set practical. I think practical is easier to set than theory. Yeah. There's another one in here.
The fact is that we like so much the practical.
Theory, old curriculum. Explain the function of federal devices. This one here is more of at the bottom level of the Bloom's taxonomy. He has some few questions that he has tried to bring in. Now there is this one in here, is more of objective. These kind of questions can be set as well, where we have fill in the blank. They are also part of the various types of questions that NCDC shared with us in the types of assessment items. And even structured, like Mr. Samuju said, structured can also be set. Doesn't mean that you always have just set scenarios only. But again, you don't have to overcapitalize what. So you can see this person has said a question in here. This is Godsma says planning happy careers day, importance of share pictures or videos. Advise the teacher regarding which computer hardware devices will be needed and explain how the above mentioned devices work. So this is a question from computer hardware. Okay. And the teacher will share pictures and videos of people infected with AIDS. And he's saying he's planning to have a careers day. Now, this question is careers day and the AIDS related, really? Is careers day? Does careers day teach about abstinence?
No.
I think this one is more of straight talk club or Piace or something. I think the question was not good. The scenario is not good.
We just need to remove that careers, then we put another word so that can suit the downer part.
Yeah.
Showing abstinence and AIDS.
So this should be about what? Either straight talk club or something. I know which. Then this other question is about storage capacity. This one is about hardware. This one. So we looked at the syllabus and we saw the question, the topic. There's a topic which had the there's a topic which had what? So when you are setting your papers also, it's good to have a rubric. It's good to have a rubric that guides you on what should I set in what. So there's a topic of file and folder management, okay? This one which has things storage and converting units of storage and using the hardware devices. So I think this topic, file and folder management, is this one, question number 9. Okay. So before you set, do a plan and do a rubric and know what am I going to set? And so that you try to see how you can balance questions in your paper, so that you don't set questions for only one topic. Okay. So the computers are this kind of storage of this, how many DVDs can provide the same storage for critical data in a business. Then now this also, floppy diskettes are something of old. We are teaching learners for the future. Let us not teach very historical things just for the sake of, because they were there in the old curriculum. If I come here and I look at the new curriculum here, storage devices, really, we were teaching them devices which they are using. I don't see why I'm teaching floppy in this age when you can't see any floppy in any shop. Maybe there's no history of computing here. So let us set things which learners are going to use in the future. Not just set because of just accumulation of knowledge. Now, match the different hardware, even in the syllabus. Then where they talked about floppy diskettes. Members, what is your take about setting about floppy diskettes in this day and age?
Mr. Rogers, I think floppy diskettes should be left out. There are a number of things that we actually ought to leave out. Like you can't bring back cassettes. Other devices that are used to store audios. You can't bring back cassettes. They were taken a long time ago. We now have flash. They're the ones to be used because these are the things people are using, the memory cards. I think those could be the ones that we now highlight upon so that people be in the know of things that they already. When you bring the other ones, then it gets back to history, and sometimes the applicability loosens a bit. So I think
anyway, someone may have said that maybe floppy disk defined them, but I don't see. He could use this current storage media or whatever, either maybe the CDs, and then we can talk about the memory card, the disks, the external hard disk, things which learners can relate with. But if you teach about things which learners have never seen in their lives, then you are not being very relevant to the learners. So
on that floppy, Mr. Makarere, when you are teaching like our learners this side, our school, when you teach, you talk about a certain hardware, learners will ask you to bring that hardware for them to see. So like in my school, I don't have that floppy. I don't know if I teach it, maybe I'll be teaching the history of what, of the subject, but now it is nowhere to be seen. Maybe I need again to go to Kampala and look for it to come and teach it, teach about it.
Can only be in the museums now. All people who have all you cannot easily buy it anywhere.
So we are teaching learners to cope up with the modern technology which is coming. So we cannot take back learners there.
Okay,
it
so
will be just a disservice for them.
I'm going to end, because I always want to restrict our session to 1 hour. I'm going to end this session by looking at the Waukesha paper. There is the papers I've been seeing people discussing here on in ITAU, and one of the papers that has stood out, that has been shared today, is the Waukesha paper. Unless if there's another person who shared this paper and he wants to share with us, please, you can let me know and I give you opportunity. If you have a paper you have set, your own paper, you can share with us and then we give some feedback. Okay. So, what is happening here? Let me open. This is now the Waukesha paper, which I've seen from these papers. One, I want to. This Waukesha paper is now substituting UNEB, because UNEB is an external examination body, which is going to set. And so more bodies like Waukesha are also trying to adopt this. Now, one, the issue of the rubric and structure of papers is not yet officially pronounced by UNEB. So for now, what we have are guidelines on how to set ports. And whatever we are discussing here is in the context from the trainings we have had within CDC on assessment for the CBC. How to set high order assessment items, which are not just recall questions, but at the top level of Bloom taxonomy. So what bodies like Waukesha are doing is not the official format of UNEB. They are also just doing something as they wait for the final formats that UNEB will provide. But one, the paper here, someone made a comment, the paper is not called computer studies in the new curriculum. And the paper code is not 840/1. So the paper codes are going to be provided for the new curriculum by UNEB, okay? So for now, whatever is being done here, we need to appreciate them for doing something, but we also need to know that this is the what they have done, and whatever a person who has said this is a paper is a person like you and like me, so we don't have to really to complain that hey, Waukesha has done this. No, let us look at it and then we see, and we can critique and improve it as we can. But one thing I've seen, this is a paper for senior 3, okay? And they are setting 3 questions. Their question number 1 is, Kapere is a university student who found his computing device damaged beyond repair. Since he was undertaking online studies, he urgently needed a suitable device to attend online lectures and prepare assignments. He then contacted Computing Investments to find out the available devices. The sales manager sends her the list of devices below. And then they give some support material here. They are showing the devices, processor, storage, RAM, and the display. So Kapere is instead confused by the information and does not know which device will be best for him. The task help Kapere understand the information in the table and make a decision on which device to purchase. If I ask this question is from which topic? Which topic did you see this question coming from? So now this is a theory question. Mr. Luchamuzi. Mr. Luchamuzi Shafik?
Yes, sir.
Hey, which topic did you see this question coming from?
I think it is hardware and software. It's a combination because I'm seeing operating system, then there is hardware components.
If I look at if I go to the syllabus and I look at there's a topic which had system startup and configuration, where I saw how the operating system operates, and then you see here operating system, okay? It's a computer system. Then there's shutting down, okay? Peripheral tools. So this was mainly about hardware, yeah? But of course, if you are looking at a computer system also includes some software in it. By the way, we don't have a topic called the software in this syllabus, isn't it? Do we have? We don't have a topic called the software.
Yeah,
there is a topic. There is like a topic at the end in senior 4 there.
Hey.
What is the elementary something or software something like that?
Yeah, there's like a topic in senior 4, but software was not really given a lot of attention. But they just mentioned something, basic software management. Okay. And
yeah, it's called basic software management.
Manage and install operating system. So, like what we said earlier, this is a senior 4 topic not yet taught. So, have they said something that requires senior 4 knowledge? I don't know. But I think this one is from the other topic of system startup, because operating system is part and parcel of that. And what is expected of Kapere? Should Kapere explain? You explain to Kapere what processor is, what storage is, what RAM is, and then tell him which computer. So remember, as if it was you, which of these computers would you take? Hey, let me first, because before you tell learners to do a paper, you should. Which of these papers? There's an i7 in here, an i7 with Windows 11, 8 GB RAM, 250 GB storage. Then there is another i7 in here, but with 4 GB RAM, Windows 8, 32-bit. Then there is another one here having Linux, 4 GB RAM, i5. Then there is another one here having Windows XP, 2 GB RAM. And what was Kapere's issue? You need to attend online lectures and prepare assignments. See? Okay. And they have not put the prices. There are many factors to consider by the way before choosing. So, which of these computers would you really select? Hey. So when we are setting questions, we also put ourselves in the shoes. Yeah.
Okay. Now when I look at that table there, I see computer one. Computer one is good or is okay because is having SSD as a storage.
Okay.
Which will increase on its speed of processing.
And it is i7.
Two
has the top RAM. Latest Windows.
A processor is i7. Is having latest Windows and is a 64-bit. I think that one is a better one.
Okay.
Because if you look at it, see even the speed is okay. I'm seeing is having SSD. You know, SSD with the machine, it runs very fast.
Yeah, and
for 8 GB RAM.
Recently, the internal storage is not a big issue because you can always get an external hard disk if you want more space. So you don't now like this one has a terabyte.
But HDD.
But HDD. Anyway,
that one.
So members, you can be able to go and see whether those things are in the competencies that were laid out, whether learners will be in position to analyze and come up with that. Yeah. So so according to the guide here, this is what I'll tell Kapere the information the table represents. Then he explains the hard disk key, the processor, the display, the software recommendation. So the device that they recommended was the first one, and just like you said, yeah. So that was the one that they saw. So you can see the scoring guide that they also have, okay? In addition to the paper here. Yeah. So yeah, let us try to always see how we can do whatever we need to do. So how do you want the learner to present his work? Should he write something like an essay or something? So question 2 is talking about, also it has even a picture as a support material. And in this one, it is Popolo is a technician of electronic devices who learned on the job. He is dealing in repairing electronic devices like monitors, radios, and he uses ICTs to trace and fix electronic faults. As a result, he spends all his time seated on the computer. However, he has started complaining about ICT health issues and does not know what to do. So this is from health issues. As a learner, compose a 10 piece of advice for Mr. Popolo. Maybe in this case, they expected the learners to bring out the various common device health issues that are there, and also the solutions on what Popolo should do to avoid those issues. And that was coming from the topic of health. Okay. Then there was another paper, another question in here, question number 3. Mr. Kabuye John Bosco, a qualified water engineer, has been working in a small shop selling plumbing products, which pays him poorly and not promptly. Ever since he qualified, after several years in service, he landed his dream job advert in newspapers. The mode of application is online, but he lacks ICT knowledge. He is keeping his academic documents in his suitcase. So he has his documents in suitcase. He does not have a CV. So these are pointers that you put in the scenario so that the learner can know what to do. So he has only wanted to submit. He has come to you because of efforts in ICT. Below is the job advert. This is the job advert. Okay. The website is there. Application. Send credentials, CV, and to info to this email before this date. So they are saying, make a write-up guiding Mr. Kabuye John Bosco on every step towards applying. So what do we expect, Mr. Kabuye? This is coming from the other topic of information sharing. Okay. So what do we want Mr. Kabuye to do? So according to this, one, converting the documents hard copy by scanning them, what you will need. Then was creating the CV using Microsoft Word and how he is going to use that. And then typing the document and then sending an email. Okay. So they expect that you guide Mr. Kabuye fully on what he's going to do to send the email, including the email address he's going to send. So if this is a senior 3 end of year paper, you realize that this is maybe paper 1 and they also have paper 2. But paper 1 did not cover, it covered some things, but some topics on the syllabus were not touched. But maybe those would be in the paper 2. Yeah, but that is what was there. So members, what do you think about this paper? We are going to, I think this is where I'm ending, and we are going to be concluding this session. Yeah, but I want to hear from members. Mr. Maure, your hand is up once again.
Yes, now I have the paper 12 that you will see on board. I have it.
You have the paper 2?
And it is only having one only one question.
Senior
which
3.
is a spreadsheet. Yes.
So that the paper was not comprehensively assessing all, like
it was
like
not
comprehensive.
comprehensive.
It was not comprehensive. But the questions are
I will send you tomorrow that paper and you also see.
Okay.
They only assess that one application.
Okay.
Yes.
So members, I think now we have got a clue on how to approach, how to set papers. You need to come up with a plan and a rubric and know how are you going to make sure that at least this paper is the representative enough of UNEB of next year, how it will be. And we already shared what UNEB, what NCDC provided us in terms of the of the end of cycle assessment, what they expect, and the principles of assessment. That is, presentation has been there. But as we await, for purposes of members, I saw Mr. Chiviri was asking, hey, that share with us the format of the papers. So I was telling you this presentation, I didn't want to go through it because I've been going through, and the emphasis which was there on the high order thinking and emphasis on the questions. Now, like also we talked about the principles of assessment. You can balance your paper, but focus more on the highest, on up here, where you're asking learners to produce new or original work. And then to organize information, to create. If learners create a document, they develop, the author a document, then that is at the top level. Taxonomy. You've told the learner to do a CV, you're not giving him the words. That is here. But if you just ask learners to define and duplicate things, then that is at the bottom level. But of course, your paper again has to be fair. So you may actually, it is also possible to have a question from down but when it is in there, like Mr. Gun said, so you can have some question, because we are testing POSIVA, knowledge, understanding, skills, values, and attitudes. So you may have your paper having a few questions which are structured, but as much as possible, let us focus on scenario-based questions, which involve transfer of knowledge, where learners exhibiting what you call high-order thinking skills. So that is something that was there. And then the format which is there right now for ICT this is what was suggested for ICT. They suggested paper 1 to be 2 hours and made up of 2 sections, and all times are compulsory. That was what NCDC had provided. But of course, UNEB is going to give you final formats, but this is what NCDC provided in the trainings that we had. And so you can say, okay, paper 2 sections. So you can have 1 section even having some questions which are fill in the blank, some questions which could be objective in nature. They have not limited you, okay? So that learners can, because for you to be able to set questions to examine the entire syllabus, it may not be easy. You may have to bring in some of those other questions, matching questions, and others. Then section B can have some essay questions or whatever. So you can see how to bring in that. Then paper 2, we have practical paper, and then candidate is assessed. And in those questions, yeah, we also has 2 sections. So you can have a section A having the basics compulsory, and then section B having some other applications optional. Yeah, so that the paper is a list, but then you can borrow some questions like what Marid has been setting there, and we can also borrow a leaf from Wakisha, how they have been setting some of their questions of theory, and then we see how we can set, but also try to balance and make sure that at least it cuts across the coverage that you have covered, based on the rubric that the blueprint that you have designed at the beginning. So members, I thank you very much for attending. Tomorrow, I have my meetings for what I call the shareability wedding. Please, you can join in tomorrow also. I'll be sharing about I have a wedding in 2 weeks, 2 weeks time, that is 2nd December, and all of you are invited for the Zoom meeting, and also we have a physical meeting on Friday at Akamwesi in Kampala. If you can't come to Kampala, at least you can join us on Zoom, and also on 2nd December, you can come physically for the wedding itself, the reception. So if you have time, please, tomorrow you can join in again, same time, and we shall be talking about that and other issues. Otherwise, I want to thank you very much for coming in today, and I hope the session has been a bit insightful. I'm going to share the recording. I'm going to upload it immediately on the ITAU YouTube channel. I'll share the recording for other members. Let us try to do what we can. We can continue sharing the papers that we do, as we also wait for the sample papers from UNEB, and prepare ourselves for next year to teach senior 4s. Good night, everyone, and bye-bye.